there, like you said, it comes down to age, sex, race. There are differences at different ages what you worry about. I mean, I think if you see a 20-year-old and they have poor bone health, then you're going to be pretty worried that they went through some sort of nutritional problems in their younger life, or some sort of health issues. Maybe they're on corticosteroids or something. But when you mentioned athletes and kind of muscle mass and injuries, when you think, let's take for an example, if you had like a 45-year-old woman and she comes in and you see a certain amount of muscle mass, her fat-free mass index or her appendicular lean mass index are a certain percentile. And let's just use like normative population percentiles, just because that person could be all different sizes, like you said. What kind of percentile do you think, okay, this person is on a great path, or this person, they probably need to make some lifestyle changes to try to add some muscle?
It's a good question. I mean, there's more inputs than just that, but it's the opposite of fat mass. So for example, someone at the 25th percentile would be someone I would be having some direct conversations with. Same thing at the 50th percentile. Like that would at least be like, okay, you're on average, but we're comparing you against this pretty unhealthy population. And so almost anyone, to be honest, like we all should be more muscle centric, but I do spend a lot of time having this conversation with women specifically in this age group. And this is a really important point because so many women are trying to lose weight. And the way they do that is by exercising more and eating less. And honestly, that is the perfect storm for losing muscle. And so we're like killing ourselves to do all this stuff. We feel terrible, and we are also hurting our health. Like we are losing muscle. And so, yeah, a lower value, like I said, even the 50th percentile, even someone that is in the 75th percentile for muscle mass, I will still have this conversation, especially as we age, because our body utilizes proteins and turns over the muscle differently as we age. So for example, if we take that 45-year-old female, she could do the same thing to her muscle she did when she was 35, and it won't respond the same. She may likely lose muscle. So even if she's normal and at a healthy spot, it would still be a very important part of the conversation. Same thing for a man. It seems to be a bit more accelerated in women. And I think that's really important component when we think about what are we measuring and how is that changing. That muscle piece is often not talked about, one, because it's not measured. So knowing where you start is really important.
Yeah. When you talk with women about adding muscle, I've had plenty of conversations with women at this point, and it's funny how many I still hear, like, I don't want to look like a man. They're like, I don't want to get too big. And I'm just like, how many women do you see walking around who are too big? Like, even at the gym, like, you don't walk into the gym and think, oh, all these women are huge. And I also find the younger generation of women seem like much more interested in working out, lifting heavy, and I think social media has a big part to do with that. But when you talk with women, say 45 to 55 years old, how do you kind of talk to them about adding muscle, like what they should focus on?
Well, first, unfortunately, we don't have enough testosterone to build muscle like a man. And so heavy lifting you have to work really hard to build muscle. And so that won't change, like that won't make you look masculine. But what we focus on a lot is targeting muscle actually increases metabolic rate and therefore helps us build our kind of calorie and energy goals without doing anything. So if I have more muscle and I'm continually breaking down that muscle by lifting weights, it kind of directly impacts caloric expenditure and overall utilization, which then I can eat more and like my metabolism is higher. The other really cool thing, what I mentioned earlier, is that muscle takes up less space than fat. And so often if you are replacing muscle with fat, your weight's not changing, but your clothes fit very different. And you
Mm-hmm.
can visibly see that and feel that. It's one of those things. And so, yeah, we talk a lot about just their goals. And I do think it's not just women, but it is particularly projected at us that the best way to improve body composition is walk and do a lot of cardio, when in reality it's not. It that makes it harder. And so we talk, how do we build muscle both in the gym and on our plates? And the nice thing too is it doesn't have to take a lot of time and be really scary. It's just doing those tools that are really effective. And I think the other piece that's really important is muscle is also, and the kind of lifting to support muscle is very protective for our joints if done correctly. And so as we age, most of us are going to deal with joint pain and et cetera. And training, resistance training actually supports that by building muscle, kind of protect those. So we talk a lot about the functionality of it and the easy way to burn calories by doing nothing.